What's going on, y'all? Your boy is back with another video, and if you guys have been following me, I have been working on this S10 Blazer / Oldsmobile Bravada / S10 truck digital dash swap into a Gbody, a 1987 Buick Regal T. So it's a T Turbo Regal, so Turbo V6. Not a plug-and-play swap, so I just want to let that be known now. You will have to do some work, you will have to do some wiring. The good thing about it is GM to GM, so some of the wires do match up with each other, like high beam wire to high beam and things like that, but you will have to do some research on this. Luckily, there's sources out there, and in my next video in regards to this, I'll show kind of the how-to of what I did, but this video is just to show you that everything works. I got everything working. Disregard the bezel. I have some tape on it, and I took some sandpaper and red Scotch Brite pad to the inside of the bezel, just because when I cut open the bezel, I just had some nick marks and some little things like that I had to clean up. Plexiglass came in, I had to cut that, and it looks perfect, man. I like just that clean tinted look. And the lenses are kind of temporarily on each gauge in the clusters as well too. So I'm just going to show you that everything works, and everything also matches up to my Scan Master. So if you guys don't know about this, these are pretty common with Grand Nationals and Turbo Regals. It pretty much shows the diagnostics of the car and what the car is doing. This matches exactly with some of these gauges. So the tach matches with the tach, the speed matches with this. I mean, everything is on point. That's how I know everything is working correctly as well. So let me go ahead and go through this real quick just to kind of show you. So key on. All right, so I just got done driving this car. We went on like a 2.5 hour road trip, and I had plenty of opportunity to see if this thing is working correctly, and it is. So gas, we just topped it off on the way there. It was reading about half, and we just wanted to top it off just to see if everything worked. Topped it off, and it went right to full. Right now it's probably about 4 gallons short. So every bar on here is about 3 gallons is what we estimated. Then you got the volts. Volts is reading accurately. A little low right now just because I got the key on, not running. Miles per hour. So you got your climate. Climate's reading about 180-ish. Let's look over here, and climate is reading just about there, 180-ish, so 178. You got your oil pressure. Obviously, there's going to be no oil pressure right now just because the car is not running. Tach, also not going to be registering right now because the car is not running. Also, too, this V6 logo never worked on any of the cars, any of the S10s or anything like that. There is a video out there on YouTube where a guy shows how to light this up, and you have to take apart the cluster and just wire 2 prongs together, and it shuts on. So I don't know why it never lit up. Maybe that's something they just forgot, but I wanted it to light up. I thought it'd be cool, and being this is a Turbo V6, I wanted it to light up, and bam, I got it to light up. Only thing that's really negative about it is the miles. So the miles, there is not anything really you can do to delete the miles. I think they're kind of just hard stored in there, and that's really the only negative thing about it. Although I really don't care. No one's gonna look at this car and believes it has 250,000 miles on it anyway. But the mileage does work. So what I did is I stored it in my phone. Oh, it's 250. 370, I believe, 370. So I'll just track my miles from there. Now, one thing that this does come with that I have not been able to use, and I probably won't be able to use, is this piece right here. Now, this piece is just an extension of the board, and it's a trip to go back and forth from your miles and your trip. And then the middle button is for calculating our miles per hour and our numerical system versus kilometers, if you want to switch back and forth for that. And then the third button is just reset, just to reset your trip. Actually goes right here, And for me to use it, I would have to cut up the bezel even more and then make modifications to the plexiglass, and it's really just not worth it to me. So I'll just kind of have to do without. This way it'll just look a lot cleaner, and I probably would never use the trip anyway. But as you can see, service engine light is on. That usually shuts off when the car shuts off, as long as there's no codes. All right, so now I'm actually gonna start it. As you can see, everything lights up. Seat belt lights up, service engine soon lights up. Service engine light soon shuts off, so does the seat belt. Volts are up now because the car is on. Temperature's reading correctly. Now we got PSI registering, and the tach is also registering now. The turn signals work. So if you guys see, that's the turn signals right there. Sequential turn signals, one of my favorite things on the car. Can't forget about those. Love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna turn on the e-brake. You're gonna see it light up. Lights up right there. I'm gonna shut on the lights. Now there is no light indicator. I mean, my light indicator is just my interior lights coming on, my dash lights coming on, and my headlights coming on in the front. But there is a high beam indicator. Bow, right there. Lights up. There's a assortment of other idiot lights on here, and I think most of them were never used. I don't know why they were there, however they are. The only other one that I have wired in is an upshift light. So there's an upshift light right here. Let me try to zoom in. I'm pretty sure there's probably manual transmission S10s, Blazers, Bravadas. So there is an upshift light that has an arrow going up and it says shift on the bottom. I have alcohol injection on this. So when the boost hits a certain amount of boost, the alcohol will kick in. And obviously right now I'm not gonna drive and hold and hit the boost and then have you guys watch the upshift light come on. However, I have a manual button that I can push to activate alcohol. Let me push that right now so you guys can see. So if you guys see that come on right there at the bottom, I don't want to hold it down too long, but it comes on right there. So that's the upshift light, and I have that tied in to my alcohol button right here. It's an old school alky injection system, but it still works. And then my button is right here on top. I just push that and the upshift light button comes on. Let me move over here. I'm gonna rev this up and you guys can see RPMs rise. So that all works. Oil pressure will rise as I give it gas, and it'll come back down as I let off. I'm gonna go ahead and back the car out just a little bit. Maybe you guys can see miles per hour registering. Let's see. Yep, so backing it out here. I'm just in my driveway, so I can't go too far. There we go, that works. Now, miles per hour, the speedo, being that it's electronic, there is a way just to delete the mechanical cable. However, I had an issue with that, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next video. So I actually had to keep my cable and just wire and run my electric speed sensor into the cable where it comes up under the hood. I had a digital dash before, and I had one of those little generator transmitters under the hood anyway that was tied into my mechanical cable. So I actually just put it right in the same location where it was. It was just right here. And when I hook that speed sensor up to my mechanical cable, there's two wires that comes off that electronic speed sensor. I ran those wires right into the vehicle speed sensor buffer, and that's what breaks down everything in order to translate the speed to the dash and the speed to the ECM, and also allows you to run your cruise control. Cruise control also works. I have that tied in as well, and I tried that today and it worked great. Only other thing that I was going to do, turn this back on real quick, is, so there's tinted lenses on these gauges, blue tinted lenses here and a green one here. Around that, you can actually kind of see the circuit board, but not really. On the original cluster inside of the S10, they actually had a whole bezel that covered that circuit board, so you couldn't see it. Actually on mine here, mine isn't covered, but you can't really see it. You can kind of see a hint of it right here, if you guys can see it right there. I have some tinted lenses that I'm working on covering those areas, but it's not really too drastic. What I'm gonna do is wait on a sunny day and see if it's gonna be needed. If I'm annoyed by it enough, then I'll try to make something to cover that up. I have a couple ideas on how I'm gonna do that, but this plexiglass I actually got off eBay, and they actually cut it to size for me, and then I had to make some slight modifications for it to fit, but it actually works really well. It's a little bit dimmer than I want it, just because I think the lenses on the gauges and then this plexiglass just makes it look a little dim, and that's actually kind of how it looked in the OEM style dash inside of the S10, but that's okay. It is what it is, and I actually love the way it looks. So I'd like it a little bit brighter. That's just because how I am, but I can actually mess with that with the lenses or manipulating the plexiglass and whatnot. So, but anyways, it all works, y'all. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys that. That is it. And everything works perfect. I am super pleased with it. And I will go more in depth on how I wired this up and everything. It is pretty involved, but I am so happy that I did it. I've been wanting to do this for a super long time, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do it, and I had the opportunity to come across some of these in the junkyard for $40. And if you guys want a cheap $40 upgrade that looks super dope, and I love the 80s stuff, man, and I'm digging this so much. If you guys are looking to attack this and you're up for a challenge, definitely a challenge, then this could be a good option for you. It's not a super common swap, but it has been done, and I'm glad that I did it. It's awesome. So anyways, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. Stay tuned for my next video on the more in-depth version, kind of like a how-to, how I did it. And man, if you guys are just subscribing to the channel for the first time, definitely think about subscribing. Hit that notification bell, like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm out, y'all. Deuces.